Greetings. Today we continue and conclude the study of Jehovah El Elyon, the Most High God. We read in Daniel chapter 5 yesterday the words of Daniel to Belshazzar concerning what happened to Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 4. And he concludes that in Daniel 5:23, the first part of the verse saying, "But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven." So for time's sake, allow me to simply point out that there has been a very long list of passages which refer to the Lord in the singular as the Lord of heaven and or the Lord of the earth. Therefore, we declare that the Bible is very clear about the possession and the dominion of this Most High God over them, which brings us to emphasize the dominance of his position. Most High God. Deuteronomy 32:8 says, "When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance." The current conflicts in the Middle East are the result of a long-standing and continuing feud by some malcontents over how God divided the inheritance which belonged to him. God chose Abraham and made of him a great nation as a particular purchased possession to prove his position of dominance over the children of men. Since all of mankind perished in the flood in Genesis, all the people upon the face of the earth today are the descendants of Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, a fact which Paul affirms in Acts 17, speaking in Athens, in verse 26, and said, "And hath made of one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times appointed before, and the boundaries of their habitation. From Shem come the Jews and other olive-skinned people. From Ham come the darker-skinned people, and from Japheth come the lighter-skinned people." Genesis 9:26 says, "And he said, Blessed be the God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. He shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." And just as God declared things would become, a history of servitude has followed a portion of that is the descendants of Canaan, of the darker skinned people. Japheth was enlarged and did and does dwell in the tents of Shem. Many still make mortgage payments to institutions owned by the descendants of Shem. God could say it would be this way and then bring it to pass just as he said it would be, because of his dominant position as the Most High God. And God divided his inheritance as he saw fit to do. Remember, Nebuchadnezzar got very mad at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego because they would not bow to his image, which he has set up as an object of worship on the plain of Dura in Daniel 3:1-6. They refused, and they were brought into the presence of King Nebuchadnezzar, where he explained once again his expectation as well as the penalty for non-compliance. They explained they would not bow to the idol under any circumstance or consequence. The furnace was heated 7 times hotter than normal, and some Hebrew scholars say 17 times hotter than normal. All we know is that the fire was so hot that it killed the men who cast the 3 Hebrew young men into the fiery furnace that day. The fire consumed the things with which they were bound, but as Nebuchadnezzar looked to see them consumed by the flames, as he declared it would happen, he saw something that he did not expect. The king saw 4 men, unbound, unharmed, walking about in the fire. And he declared that the fourth man's form was, quote, like the Son of God in Daniel 3:25. It continues in Daniel 3:26, then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth from the midst of the fire. The Bible is filled with instances of God's children getting into trouble for obeying God rather than men. Many earthly despots have threatened to harm them, and God stepped in and did something which caused them to stop and say, Whoa, you serve the Most High God that I have ever seen working among men. The idols which I have been serving can do nothing compared to what I have just witnessed. The world will have a living idol someday soon, and they will assemble to battle against God's chosen people. The battle of Armageddon will still be about the land which God gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a fact which the Ishmaelites, Esauites, Moabites, Ammonites have never accepted. Revelation 19 declares that just at the right moment, Jesus will ride in on a white horse to settle the issue of his dominant position as the Most High God. The devil has tried, is trying, and will continue to try to usurp the throne from this Most High God. In fact, Revelation 12:7 and 8 speaks of one more grand attempt for a coup d'etat. I love the words of Revelation 12:8. The King James says, he prevailed not. The Greek phrase simply says, he was not strong enough. Why? Because Revelation 19:6 will answer the question. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. The Lord God omnipotent reigns because he is the Most High God. How many variations of this theme have you read in a book or seen in a movie? There's impending doom and the beloved princess is about to perish at the hand of the villain. The prince in shining armor rides in on a white horse to deliver her, and they live happily ever after. God has offered you and me, that is us, a place on his winning team in the ages-long conflict. Matthew 5:5 says, blessed are the meek, for they shall. Matthew 5:5 says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. When the dying thief said, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom, in Luke 23:42, he with his simple words was acknowledging these three facts: the duration of Christ's reign, the dominion of his reign, and the dominance of his reign. Jesus has promised us a part in his coming kingdom as believers. This promise is assured to us because God is the possessor of heaven and earth. He is able to divide his inheritance as pleases him. No other concept of creation, sustaining, and redemption can be compared to that of the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth. I pray that God would grant us the ability to acknowledge him as the Most High God, which he is, and that we would offer as spiritual priests the spiritual sacrifices which are pleasing to him. We ask him to deal mercifully, kindly, and graciously with us when we fail to the hindrance of the flesh, looking forward to the day when it will be removed.